Hey everyone, how you doing? So I'm sure most of you have heard of Cyberpunk 2077, a new video game based on the role-playing game from way back that will be coming out this year, highly anticipated. But some of you might not know that they actually published a comic based on the Cyberpunk 2077 universe by Dark Horse in order to promote the video game that is coming out. It is a 4-issue miniseries. So far, just issue 1 is out. I believe issue 2 will be coming out next week. And it is based on Trauma Team from Cyberpunk 2077, the med techs. For those of you who are not familiar with Cyberpunk, I'll give you a brief description. Basically, you pay Trauma Team for insurance, and so long as you're paying their insurance, if you need help, medical attention, because let's say you got in a fight with a gang and they shot you to Swiss cheese, they will come in fully armored head to toe with heavy firearms, and they will kill everyone around you just to make sure that you're safe. And they will keep you alive so that you can keep on paying that insurance. Now that is what I call a good business deal. I wish we had that in real life. That's what I want my ambulance to be like. They come in, they kill everyone else just to make sure that I'm safe. Thank you, medtechs, for your service. The overall art in this book is pretty nice, although the action scenes are a bit stiff. You know, it's kind of one of those things where you know action is happening, but it doesn't really excite you necessarily that much. Like, you don't feel the weight of punches or gunshots. It's just that, okay, you know that gunshots are going off. You can visually see that gunshots are going off. But overall, I do like the art. So now, without further ado, let's get into the story. Our main character, of course, is a medtech, and it's a woman. And of course it's a woman, because it's 2020, you're not allowed to have male main characters anymore. So her little backstory here is she went through some trauma, losing her entire team, trying to save this guy. We open up with kind of a little therapy session where you see the different color-coded for each of their voices, yellow being Nadia, blue being the therapist. Although I do have to say, I should have said this before when I was talking about art, but when it comes to color-coding the narration, maybe blue shouldn't have been the color, because it blends in so much with the background so often, to the point where I feel like I almost miss it. I almost miss it, and then all of a sudden my eyes notice, oh wait, was that text? Oh yeah, it was text. Okay, I gotta read that. Yellow pops out perfectly, of course, but yeah, you should be thinking about that when you put the pages together. Anyway, back to the story. She lost her entire team, but she succeeded in saving the guy. Yay! You know, I gotta be honest for a second here. They are covered head to toe in armor, but we're working with like stormtrooper logic where the armor does nothing to protect them against bullets. And the main person to blame for her losing her team is, of course, this guy who just is viciously slaughtering medtechs and, you know, destroying their equipment while he's at it, I guess. Despite her trauma, she just wants to get back to work, so they hook her up with a new team, and it's kind of weird because they keep on like introducing her as New Kid, and I guess because she's new to their team, but she's not new as a medtech. They've been working for the same company for years, and it just seems random for them to have like this little, I don't know, back and forth about being called New Kid, because it doesn't even just happen once, it happens again later, and I just don't get it. I don't get what the point the writer was. What is the writer trying to do by having them call her New Kid? Is the point to make them seem condescending? Or, I mean, they don't seem bad. They seem to genuinely think that she is new. They don't, like, know that she's been working with the company, which is weird. I think it's weird that they don't know that she's been working with the company for this long, but they don't seem to have any, like, ill intent by calling her new kid. So I don't understand, is it supposed to be a joke? Am I supposed to laugh at them calling her new kid? It's like, haha, she's not new. It's also just such a 90s thing to call somebody, hey, new kid. You'd think that they'd use a more current term like noob or just anything besides new kid, because she's also not a kid. This isn't a high school 80s movie. But anyway, she's got her new team. She's out on a new mission to save somebody who, you know, called in like, hey, I pay my insurance, come save me. So when they get to the guy that they're supposed to save, there is a plot twist that basically makes up the whole story. Now I know some of you might be thinking, oh no, spoilers. Barely anything happened. And like, literally if you read the synopsis of issue 2, you'll get it spoiled for you, because it's all a connecting story. Basically, oh no, plot twist, the guy who killed her entire trauma team, her original team of co-workers, is the guy they're supposed to save. Oh no. It feels like a typical plot twist when I first read it, so I kind of didn't think about it too much. You know, the idea being that it's questioning the morality of the company to be saving criminals in the first place. However, when you think about it in closer detail, you realize it makes no fucking sense. And that is this plot twist is actually the biggest problem with this comic. Sure, them calling her new kid is annoying and not funny, but this is actually the big problem of this comic, because it makes no sense. Even if you have no Cyberpunk 2077 knowledge, just basic understanding of how businesses work, you know that this makes no sense. Why would they save someone who has already costed them so much money? Once again, let's go back to the beginning of this comic. So he killed an entire team of medtechs and like thrashed their equipment that's probably worth lots of money to get these floating tanks that they got. But even more so, killing their employees, which is just money down the toilet right there, because that means that they can respond to less calls. Less employees means that you can't help as many people, meaning that you get more deaths in your clients, so you get less money. Even more so, I'm pretty sure that like their employees are probably insured themselves. I mean, you'd think that they'd get like a discount or something, right? So from a business standpoint, why would you save a guy who costs you way more money to keep alive than to kill? Well, they don't really answer that, in this issue at least, but in the second issue, I guess they might come up with some kind of explanation for why they need to keep this guy alive, even though he clearly cost them a lot of money. But if there is no explanation and it really is just as simple as, oh, well, he paid his insurance, no. Am I really supposed to believe that Trauma Team is so cucked that they will keep someone alive who actively kills their employees? That makes no sense. The whole reason why Trauma Team has guns and armor and a fucking floating tank is so that anyone who shoots at them gets fucked up. They shoot back. That's the point. Now forgive me if I am wrong. Please correct me in the comments if I am in fact wrong. I am not the oasis of cyberpunk knowledge here. But if somebody kills Trauma Team medtechs, wouldn't they put out a hit on that person using the money from the pension? Wouldn't they actually pay money just to make sure that you are dead and will no longer kill any of their medtechs? At the very least, to send a message, don't fuck with Trauma Team? I mean, they're a pretty powerful company. That's why they carry around a floating tank and cover employees with armor and load them up with guns. It's because they'll fuck you up, and that's the message that they want to send. We will fuck you up. But no, in this comic, I'm supposed to believe that they're so cucked that even if you actively try to kill them, they'll still save your life. Like I said, maybe there's some sort of reasonable explanation for it. I'm just not getting that impression with this first issue alone. And like I was saying before, I think what the writer was actually going for is to question the morality of the company, to criticize big business when they're always chasing money and they're not making moral decisions. Like I said, there's a huge logical fallacy because in this instance they're actually losing money and therefore it makes no sense. But there are ways to question the morality of Trauma Team, because of course saving the lives of criminals has bad effects on the rest of the world here. But a better way that you could show this, you know, spitballing, for example, let's say there's some gang fight, middle of the street, some citizens get hurt, and one of the people in the gang, you know, calls for a medtech come and save their ass. So Nadia and her team come in and, you know, they're saving the guy, but Nadia notices that there are some other citizens that are hurt and crying out for help. And she wants to go save them, but she's not allowed to because they're not insured. And she's on the clock. She's being paid to save this guy, the guy who is responsible for the citizens being hurt, because he's the one insured. You see, that gets the same message across, gets the same moral, you know, conflict across without being completely illogical. And to be honest, I didn't even think the comic was that badly written, but rather the story itself was just not ready. It's a very simple, straightforward issue. The more you think about it, the more it frustrates you, because it's like, wait a minute, why would they save this guy? But if you would like me to read and review issue 2, let me know down below in the comments section. I could give you an update on what happens next. I am pretty pumped about Cyberpunk 2077 coming out soon, even if the comics don't really turn out to be a very good representation of the game. But of course, let me know your own thoughts, your own opinions down below in the comments section. Remember to like the video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
Program restart.